Friday night footy coming your way from ANZ Stadium, the first game in our double-header tonight. And here come the visitors, the Warriors. 7-3 right now. They are third on the ladder, have the chance to join the Dragons and Penrith on 8 wins. They're off to their best start in club history, but can they continue it tonight, Brandy?
Well, it's been a mixed month for them, and they're coming off the back of a big loss to the Roosters last week, but they were without this man, Isaac Luke, and I think he's become more important to the side. Such has been his form in 2018 than even Sean Johnson, who has only played a handful of games for the Warriors this year, and they've been able to do it without him on most occasions. Luke returning is a huge plus for the Warriors tonight as they try and bounce back after that hiding to the Roosters last week.
And Manu Ma'u, always a key man, trying to lead the way for Parramatta's pack. They are 2-8, and they need to go on one of those runs if they want to play finals footy again.
Well, he's played every game this year, Manu, and he's all about quality and effectiveness, over 100 metres a game, but it's the intensity that he brings to the pack there at Parramatta, and he'll need it tonight against his countrymen in the New Zealand Warriors.
And look where they've hid Adam Blair for the kickoff. Last time he played against Parramatta, he coughed it up from the kickoff, remember, as a Bronco, and the Eels scored the fastest try in NRL history in 12.88 seconds. Kirisomi Ava'a is not out there, and they're not going to kick it towards Adam Blair unless they're going to go for a short kickoff. It'll be one of the big boys to bring it back for the Warriors. Taken by Luke, and here they go for the opening hit-up. Ignatius Parsi. They made a change to their front row. Bunty Afoa dropped back to the bench. Here's Tohu Harris. You can see James Gabbard is out there in the number 16 jumper, part of their reshuffle. And there's no Roger Tuivasa-Sheck either, the captain and fullback. Staying at home this weekend, Megan Barnard.
Yes, good evening, Speedy. Great to be here at ANZ Stadium, and great to see plenty of blue and yellow in the stands. They're a win-starved bunch right now, the Parramatta faithful, but speaking to a few of them before the game, they say while their patience is wearing thin, they're still confident success isn't too far away, Matty.
I'm looking forward to seeing these Warriors who complete the first set. Who are the real Warriors, Brenton?
Indeed. They haven't had too many games at this venue either, ANZ Stadium. Only 3 games since the 2011 Grand Final. French asking for a penalty, and they'll get it on their opening set. Staying on Takarangi too long. So the touch finder from Corey Norman, and the Eels can head upfield. Jennings playing alongside his brother out on this side, and Beau Scott is in the second row tonight, a starter in the number 11 jumper after turning 34 on Tuesday. Now Alvaro up over halfway, he goes. Cam King has returned as the dummy half. Kaiser Pritchard out injured right now.
Yeah, the Will Smith experiment didn't work, not starting anyway. So Cameron King has been called back up. Genuine hooker.
Now Gutherson joins the line, throws the cutout pass and knocked on by Bevan French, who's been a try scorer in the last 3 weeks out there on the left wing.
Well, they'll need to make their own energy here, both these teams. And you're not going to make energy by giving away cheap possession. It's not going to be a big crowd in here tonight, and need to make each other feel valuable out there and create some atmosphere in the middle of the park.
Well, I don't know where Bevan French was going then, even if he took that ball. There wasn't much space, and the defence from the Warriors was just sliding out. But it was poorly executed and not the sort of start that the Eels wanted. Their first time down this end of the field. I'll be disappointed with that.
They've got some big boys in the outside backs, including the informed David Fusatua. He's been overtaken at the head of the try-scoring charts by Josh Adokar. In the last couple of weeks, he's one behind now. Luke, little scoot out of dummy half, but there was no room for him. Cleaned up by his opposite number. Now, Ignatius Parsi, the former Titan. Green gets it. Runners in motion, including Adam Blair. Parramatta on guard. Terapo in on that tackle. Now Green's kick. French and Gutherson working it out. It's French who has to go, and that's a good take.
Last week, the Warriors only completed 69% of their sets, and they were stuck between the two styles that they wanted to play. A lot of offloads, but they didn't earn the right last week. This week, they've started with a bit more intent going through the middle.
Takarangi gets a lovely offload away to Gutherson, who hurdles Tohu Harris.
He's a talented player, Takarangi. Produced a couple of those balls last week against the Bulldogs to get the Eels going. They earn a penalty off the back of it. Just the pressure on the Warriors' defence there. They just needed to slow things down, which tried a little bit too hard there. Terrific ball. Gutherson hurdling and Isaac Luke.
He's looking to bounce back, of course. Clint Gutherson in tears last week after gifting that try to Adam Elliott. Effectively the match winner for the Bulldogs. It was 12-all when he refused to put it dead, hoping it would go dead. Now Terapo nearly through. He did well to hold on. They want to keep coming to the right. Moses, Scott trying to crash his way over. Gutherson was looming in support. And the ball, does it come loose there? Bo Scott's asking the question.
Extremely well to hold on to that, Bo Scott.
Now Moses gets his hands on it. Norman thinking kick. Chasers might have been in front of him a little. Does that touch a Warrior?
I've got goal line dropout.
Yes, it is. A goal line dropout coming up.
Gee, they tried their best to get out of the road, the Warriors. Petahiku. Oh, the ball just sat up and bounced off David Fusatua.
They get their chances, the Eels. They do control the football down this end of the field really well. The left foot of Norman, and Moses can do it as well. It's about turning this possession and this territory into some points, which they've really struggled with.
So another forced dropout from Corey Norman, who's #1 in that category. We've got the top 2 in the competition for forcing line dropouts this season in this game. We've already seen it in effect. So Norman 2 clear of both Green and Brooks now after that effort. Sets your team up for another crack at it. King. Little run out of dummy half. Switch of direction for Moses. Here's Gutherson. The Warriors rock solid defensively there, both Carter and Blake Green. Now Terapo gets the big fend off going on Isaac Luke. They come back this side. They might have had a chance if they'd continued to spread it to the left. Another penalty. They're all going against the visitors right now.
Well, no surprise to see them go for 2. Spent a bit of time down here. The Warriors, the side struggling with confidence and struggling to score tries. I guess that adds weight to them going for the 2 points.
Saw Bo Scott go over to Mitchell Moses then, and that was a good line that he ran out here on the right edge. And when Bo Scott is at his best, he picks his hole and runs right into it. And it's a nice short ball from Moses. So a couple of little trick shots from Parramatta, but defended well from the Warriors.
And those observant viewers will be wondering why Gavin Reynolds is blowing the whistle and not Adam G. There was a late change in the refereeing ranks too, Brandy. Adam G did a hammy, ruled out, so Reynolds takes over as the main ref tonight. And Moses puts the first points on the board. Parramatta lead it 2-0. Let's get down to Megan again.
Yes, Speedy, as you mentioned earlier, no RTS tonight. He's on baby watch with his fiancée Ashley, due to give birth to their first child any day now. And Blake Green told me before the game his decision not to travel goes back to when Blake Ashford a couple of years ago took the gamble and found himself mid-game in Sydney when his wife was in labour. So it's left all the dads-to-be feeling a little nervous.
Last time Parramatta led 2-0, and that was against Manly, the only time they've had a 2-0 lead this year. They went on to win that game. Of course, they were smashed by Manly in another contest where they didn't register a score. looking for their 3rd win of the season here tonight. Coming off back-to-back losses against the Sharks and the Dogs. They had one against the Sea Eagles and the West Tigers back-to-back before that. That 0-6 start has left them playing catch-up. Gutherson into dummy half. Terapo has been heavily involved. Parramatta fans thought that tackle from Parsi may have slipped high. The kick out of dummy half is travelling way too far. And King looked to get a bit of momentum for his team there, but he's instead halted the momentum.
Well, just poor execution from King. Probably the right idea. I think Norman or Moses will kick the ball, but he has got that in his kit bag, Cameron King, and just didn't execute it. I'm sure we'll see it again. Hopefully he doesn't lose his confidence in that area.
Yeah, his first appearance since round 3 for King. Tohu Harris, there was some talk that he might step into the halves today, but he remains in that more familiar role. Out on the right edge, now Green. Hiku playing in the fullback role. Jared Beale coming into the team with that reshuffle for Tuivasa Sheck. So Hiku to fullback, Beale to the centres.
The first game for the Warriors too, for Jared Beale. Recovering from that broken leg he picked up at the World Cup.
Now that was late October. Only returned to action last week for Western Suburbs in the New South Wales Cup. Played in the centres there. And straight back into first grade for his Warriors debut. Will he get his hands on it here potentially? Harris cuts him out instead. Set play. Fusatua! Flying in the corner. What a finisher he is. And he's joint top try scorer with Addo-Carr again. Or is he? You'd normally back him in to finish.
Have a try. Just check touch and goal through to the grounding, please.
Oh, there didn't seem to be a problem, did there? He is a try scorer of remarkable ability. David Fusatua, this could be try number 12.
Yeah.
Everything's out, but his hand and the football. The leap was timed perfectly.
Field of play and grounded the ball in the in goal. We have a decision.
He's so good at it. David Fusatua. Nice little short side raid. Mason Lenor pushed the ball on beautifully. Had no time under pressure. And the big man finishes it off in the right-hand corner.
There would have been a time where pitches like that would have blown our mind. But it's just becoming a regular of David Fusatua. Scored so many tries this year. But just look at this. Clint Gutherson caught at A there. Which didn't get... Tried to get the numbers right. But Fusatua... Nice little short ball from Tohu Harris and to Mason Leno. In the corner goes Fusatua.
Well, he still had plenty of work to do, didn't he? Fusatua had to catch it low and behind him, and I thought that gave Corey Norman a reasonable chance to get to him and hit him with a little bit more than what he did. A little push from Corey Norman was never going to be enough to stop Fusatua, and I thought with the pass low and behind, there's a real chance that Norman gets closer than what he did.
It's a great ball from Leno. Amazing.
Fantastic from Mason Lenor, who's only won 2 of his 13 NRL games. Those wins coming this season. Now he'll try and add the extras. Touchline conversion on the way, and he's got the little bend back the other way. And he does convert at 6-2 to the Warriors, and David Fusatua has matched his try-scoring feats from all of last year with 12, Matt Russell.
Yeah, in 2016 he had 11, 2017 12. He's at 12 already. Here we are in round 11. And this season he scored 4 doubles. Plenty of time for him to get a 5th double tonight.
Just wait.
Superb athlete. Wonderful to watch what he's doing, particularly this year. No wonder they draw up the set plays for him. Jared Haynes should be back next week, hopefully, for Eels fans. Donning the beanie tonight. The seasons have changed, and Jared's meeting it head-on.
As long as we keep appreciating those efforts that these wingers are doing, don't let it become the norm, which it is, but it's an amazing ability that they have.
Yeah, we should never get complacent about those sort of tries. Spectacular that they are. There's the other big fella, Mamalo.
Yeah, both wingers really tall men. Now Carter, a more stocky build. Off the back of points, they went through the heavy, deep breathing, and it's solid one-out stuff. Ball hits the deck too. Almost got awkward for Gutherson. And there's a good defensive line on the chase.
Well, it's normally a spring and a step after a try. Let's see what the Warriors do defensively and see how the Eels combat it as they work it out of their own end.
Again, asking for the penalty. There's nothing doing this time as Jennings comes in for work. Slips out of the initial tackle from Papali'i. And there's been a little knock on here from the veteran Jennings. Another opportunity for the visitors here. They'll start from 40 metres out near enough.
Well, there's a lot of blank faces there from the Eels, and for a side that's only won 2 games, they just can't afford to be making these errors. Jennings has been so good for them with his experience, but just loses control of the footy as they work it out. There's the completion rates. 4 from 4 up against 4 from 7. 3 errors from the Eels already.
And Brandy, they've only dominated possession 3 times this season, Para. In those games, they've won 2 of them. Shows you how important it is for them.
Now Marlowe coming across to the right-hand side off the back of that scrum. Now Gavitt.
Daniel
Another
Alvaro.
early penalty here.
Daniel Alvaro.
Well, they could go to a 6-point lead with a shot at goal, but yeah, I'd like to see them, and that's what they're thinking about. Let's put some pressure on the Eels.
Or are they? As the call comes, Stacey Jones is out there. He's relaying the message.
Come on, Stace. Just pretend you didn't hear it and let them take the tap.
It's a gift too, though, from right in front. And Mason Lenore has already converted from the touchline, so he'll almost throw this one over, and they will have that lead of a converted try.
So Isaac Lukey obviously wanted to play on. Experienced there. He feels that there's another try on offer, and it'd be nice that the players could have that feel and just go ahead. But as you do see so many penalties today, it's just why wouldn't you kick the goal? And those teams that do go along with this mindset can get 8 points a game.
Agree with it totally, Dan. Agree with it totally. And, you know, I just thought the Warriors, off the back of that mistake from the Eels, they just might have had them under the pump. Stacey Jones, who gave the direction, still out there, Stace. And anyone remember the 2002 grand final? That try he scored, and that just near the post.
One of the best.
Lenore does knock it over, and the message, of course, came from Stephen Kearney, the former Parramatta coach. He is 0 for 9 at this venue. He's looking for his first victory at ANZ. No wonder he's taken the 2.
Well, he'd be enjoying this up against the club where I'm pretty sure the Eels were his first grade job. It wasn't a great period in Stephen's coaching career. Went to the Broncos, but doing some good things this year with the Warriors.
Am I right in saying they've only played once here? Is that right? These 2 teams?
Yeah,
I'm sure they have.
That was last year. Don't forget the second game in our doubleheader on Fox League on Friday night. It is an absolute blockbuster coming your way right after this. The Broncos against the Roosters at Suncorp Stadium. What about some of the matchups? Boyd v Tedesco, Roberts v Latrell. It's going to be must-watch TV. McCulloch v Friend. How important is that?
Big clash for the vacant Queensland hooking spot.
Oh, almost a hospital thrown out there. Was that almost a trip? First contact from Takarangi. Looked like it was leg on Lenore, but there's no whistle. And the kick comes from Luke. It's going to hit Gutherson on the chest here. And they can get some field position going here, the Eels.
Takarangi's very aggressive out in that left. He's keen to come up and in. I'm sure putting some shapes around him soon.
First contact was
Just a collision. Eels.
now over. On that hit up, he takes the... Always a good sign. Penalty, it had to come.
Get up now!
You know, the team that deserves to Manu Ma'u. Norman. Maroa over on that left edge to the place on that occasion.
Set of 6 from the Parramatta. When you're passing a ball from a half to a back, sometimes they like it short of a back rower. They're not playing the play. Get those halves pushing up around the ball. That's when I see the best out of Parramatta.
Well, they've completed 5 sets, 5 of 9, but they've had 4 penalties. They've only got through a set.
Don't go early.
It's not going to win you games. You just can't put enough pressure on a defence to crack them if you're going to cough the ball up as much as they've done already. You know, halfway through the opening 40 minutes, they give away a penalty now, only the second that they have, and that allows the Warriors out there.
It just compiles it, doesn't it, Brandy? And that's what the headaches of a coach. Putting Brad Arthur's harder part is that it just ball set into a penalty, just not on.
Carter gets them on the front foot. Big line to the right now. And they go through Blair, bit of ball playing between the big men. Parsi. Midway through the first half. Green. Flat ball for Gabbett. They'd like to work it out to Fusatua when they can. They'll come back to the left this time. Green, runners in motion, links with Hiku. Chance if he can get it to the outside to Maumalo, but Parramatta jammed in. Didn't allow the pass to get to the outside.
No, he probably needed to throw the pass immediately. Once he beat that player, it was a 3-on-2.
Parsi running back at Moses. Great offload. Second phase footy here for Lenore. Now Jared Beale trying to slip out of the tackle of French, who came in off that wing. They get it to Fusatua, and they wrap him up that time. Parramatta scrambling. Now the crossfield kick from Lenore. Maumalo will rise. Flicks it out the back. Hiku, a little slip. Now he's going to slip all the way through. Can you believe that? It looks so unlikely when Maumalo dropped it out the back, but Peta Hiku managed to turn his way towards the try line and said, hello, I've got another 4-pointer.
Well, Mason Lenore's kick went horizontal. It didn't get close enough to the try line. Maumalo won the battle in the air, but there was 3 Eels surrounding him. And you're right, Speedy, when he was going backwards after thinking that he might get there, flicks it out the back. Hiku slips over. Oh, well, it's a dewy night, but the end of it sees Jennings slip over, Hiku go down. Remarkable little move from Peta Hiku to grab the Warriors' second try, and the Eels are in trouble. They're in trouble, the Eels.
What would Jennings be thinking here? I've got to wrap the ball up, no more offloads. But first and foremost, you have to make the tackle. You have to make the tackle, kill the ball there. Don't go in to wrap the ball up. Go in to make the tackle.
So which part of the body should he have been targeting?
Just the body, the midriff. The midriff, and then
Straight
look,
into it.
and then look for the ball.
Yeah. We saw the reaction from his brother, Michael Jennings, as he watched Robert slip off that tackle going, oh, no. So Lenore, they're giving him a few testers, aren't they? Pretty good strike rate, though. He's only missed 3 shots all year. Giving himself a good talking to as well, Mason Lenore. Now hearing it from the crowd, it's an interesting preparation. He can't bend it back enough the other way that time. It remains a 10-point lead for the Warriors.
Peter Hiku, Brendan, he's played at Manly and Penrith and was meant to be playing with Warrington, but gained a release to start his career at the Warriors and scores his second try of the season. And very close to entering the field, Megan, Simon Mannering, the first interchange for the Warriors.
Yeah, Matty, we might be seeing our final glimpses of Mannering as he considers his retirement. He indicated this week that he's unsure if he'll extend his career into a 15th season, revealing he'll make his decision in the bye weekend in round 13.
And Brendan, if he plays every game for the rest of the season, he'll get to 300 in the final round at home against Canberra. What an occasion that'll be.
Yeah, a chance to join the club as they muscle up big time on Gabbard here and drive him back.
Well, they need to do something, the Eels, just to change the flow of this game. They're down 12-2. We've got 18 minutes left of this first half. They've been far below their best and playing very much like they have all season. They need to do something to change it.
So Mannering has entered the fray, as you can see. He ran for 87 metres last week against the Roosters. That was the most of any Warriors forward. They had to have a response today, and we've seen it. Gabbard's racked up 57. Parsy's gone past the 50 mark as well already in the opening 23 minutes. Green to kick from the 40-metre line. Tries to get the spiral going. Again, Gutherson can just camp underneath it. Oh. He ran into the shoulder of Jared Beale. Welcome back to first grade for the former Shark, Bronco and Dragon. He aimed up big time, and Gutherson felt that hit.
He's a good man to have coming into the side, Jared Beale. A great career with the Sharks. Kiwi that's joining the Warriors, and I think he can stay in that spot if he wants to. He's good enough.
Yeah, it was one of their key off-season signings, but then, as you said, suffered that broken leg in late October, so they've had to wait until now. Round 11 to get him out there. Another error from the Eels. Coughed up by Manu Ma'u this time.
We spoke about their completion rate, how many errors they have made. Really disappointing. In the halftime chat, Brad Arthur's probably used to pick up the errors. We're tackling too much. They tackle more than anyone in our competition. All because of just little errors in and around the play of the ball. It just kills you. Your energy saps. And that's why they can't do too much with the ball.
Well, you've seen it all before, Brad Arthur. It would be, it's almost like a broken record for him just watching his team cough the football up and really lose the ability to compete.
Now Marlowe, such a strong runner. Now Hiku and a dummy half. And they're right on the front foot again. Pops it out the back. What about the handling of Beale? Parramatta fans are thinking, surely that must be a knock-on, but I reckon he secured it perfectly. It was fantastic work from Beale on that occasion with a Parramatta player in the vicinity. They protected Mannering on the way down there after getting him into an awkward position. Now Green, almost an afterthought to get the flat pass going to Parsi. Blair wants it now. Green, shake for a kick. Fusatua was ready to chase. Now back to Beale with nowhere to go.
Good stop from Moroa.
Green, another crossfield kick. Almost going backwards, this one. Carter camped underneath it. Can he get the second phase go? Oh, the kick from Parsi. And it's kicked out by the Parramatta player. It's going to remain Warriors' ball here. Gutherson felt he could take no chances.
Well, Kemble Marlowe has gone for the left hand here. He's trying to go back. He'd probably been best off kicking it with his left foot, but he's trying to bat it back. Still going to get the feed here anyway.
Well, they got a result out of it.
It sure did.
That leftovers from last week for Gutherson.
Well, it might have been. It might have been, Speedy. That's a good point. But I guess the ball was far enough in field, although going towards the sideline, that he just didn't want to take a risk with it. It does offer the Warriors a golden opportunity now to extend that lead. It's already 10.
All set, 1 foot on the line.
Mantiafo ready to come on.
Out.
What will they cook up from this scrum play? Beale again shows his ball handling. Held on one-handed initially in the juggle. Takarangi completing the tackle. Tohu Harris. Still going. The former Melbourne Storm star. Now Green bats it on. Parsi! Ignatius Parsi was winding up and trying to crash his way through. He nearly got there. Important tackle made by King. Now Green back inside to Blair. And that's the setup play. Parramatta look a little short. Out to their left-hand side. The Warriors right, so they go that way. Harris. Beale cut back inside. And Parramatta got the numbers there in the end, just. Now Green. A little kick in behind is a low one. Jennings will be forced to give them another set.
Well, for a moment there, it looked like Parsi was going to score, so that's a great defensive set by the Eels. Just watch this pass from Blake Green and how quickly he delivered it to Ignatius Parsi. Jennings was up, missed the tackle. In the end, Moses did a great job just to slow him down enough and give Cameron King some time to cleaning up. But I thought the Eels really scrambled well in that set.
Sure did. They had Bo Scott, he went in, and then he had his right centre in Michael Jennings, so he's all left isolated.
They've scored most tries in the league from dropouts, the Warriors. How they'd love another one right now.
Yeah, Green now outright second in forcing dropouts behind Norman. They've had one each already, so that stat ringing true already tonight in the opening half hour. First involvement for Bunty Afoa, and he's put on his back. Now Blair. Oh, again, they're getting the Warriors players horizontal to the ground, aren't they? Lifting them. Now Lenore again. Look out, Fusatua. Struggles to hold on this time. That's a knock on. And then the high shot from Beale. Let's play on right now. Gutherson looking to make it the advantage out of it all. Plenty happening on that play.
Well, that was an interesting little passage, wasn't it? The pass goes to Fusatua. If it's delivered from Beale and it's a good one, Fusatua might have really troubled the Eels. In the end, Corey Norman picked up the loose ball and almost lost his head. Beale coming across. Fusatua just asked to do too much.
He was excited for that white stripe, wasn't he? I think he was just a little bit ahead of where he would have liked to have been. Just need to be a little bit further back, so that ball could have been delivered right into his hands, but wasn't to be, and that hasn't found touch.
Another mistake. Don't cut to Brad Arthur. Let's let him have this moment to himself.
That was Corey Norman, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was. I thought it was a left foot as we were looking at that, and I was thinking about Fusatua's drop ball. That's a shocking error from the Eels.
And that went backwards. No knock on, which they were hoping for. Now Fusatua to play it. Quick service for Lenore. Now Mannering. Strong work over the top by Matangi. Luke just got there for the dummy half roll. Papali'i.
Well, do you know if that was...
That's a bonus. That is a big bonus for Parramatta as Papali'i loses the ball and gives it back to Parramatta.
Well, that was one of those ones where your forwards look up and you look at your half. Whoever kicked that ball, I think it might have been Norman. Like, what are you doing? You come in here now, you make some tackles. It's a cardinal sin. You'd be disappointed with that, obviously, Normie, but so would the forwards. Very lucky to have the ball back in their possession.
Wait. Let it in. Out.
Now the Eels have to go a lot further than they would have done. Had that kick found touch a moment ago. Working their way out of their own red zone instead through Matangi. Only working the ball over up top was a foul.
That
Will
was
Smith
really
out there.
slow, that play, the ball. That was, they were allowed to get away with a lot there. Good offload from Gower.
Now Maroa. They've got some go forward going, so the interchange forwards having an impact on this set. Matangi and Gower. Takarangi to play it for Smith. So they've rung the changes, looking for a spark here, Brad Arthur. Jennings put some footwork on. Carter did well to respond and chop his legs from underneath him. Now Moses' kick sits up handily for the Warriors, and they're back into the field of play safely. Mason Lino. Couple of tackles made inside the 10 though.
A much better set from the Eels, and Gower provided a nice pass to get things going. They were able to keep the Warriors on the back foot. Moses' kick was good. Chase was good. They just...
Oh, great tackle by Smith, because the legs were pumping, the knees were high from Fusatua, but he aimed up and made the tackle.
Like Brad Arthur said in our pre-game interview, he said that the effort's been there. We're just not playing well enough in patches. There's the tackle from Will Smith on a much bigger man in David Fusatua.
What are you watching when the knees are like that, Danny?
Oh, you got to dip late. You got to dip late. You don't want to dip too early, otherwise you're going to wear some knees, which on a night like tonight, it's not really enjoyable.
Smith started last week with the number 9 on his back, but coming off the bench.
He's changed his whole front row as Brad Arthur. Smith hopefully can create a little bit more with his ball.
Another quick tap given the all clear. I reckon that's what the NRL need to ensure happens more with all these penalties happening now as a defensive mechanism. Let them take more and more quick taps instead of calling them back.
The problem is you can't take a quick tap inside the 10, which is where a lot of penalties are blown. Will Smith out of dummy half, worries that short side. Here we go, penalty.
Inside the 10.
No quick tap on this occasion will be allowed.
And what's the count? It's 7-2 right now in favour of Parramatta, and they're booing. And here comes the warning. Blake Green has been summoned, the captain tonight, with no Tuivasa-Sheck.
It's taking way too long. Why don't they adopt the Super League?
You might be losing one.
Why don't they adopt what they do in the Super League by just waving their arm, and that warns that's the warning.
Exactly.
Just
it's a signal.
wave your arm around.
We would have 3 or 4 tackles by now.
Yeah, because the captain, Blake Green, will make the slowest walk to go chat to the referee and slow it down, let his team have a breather. Hello? Hello? Is anyone listening? Now Manu Ma'u runs behind a teammate. They're asking for a penalty for a Shepherd. Get away with one there, Parramatta. Smith. Decent service for Norman. The halves combine. Oh, they're through here. Gower nearly. Great tackle made by Green. It's a penalty and 10 in the bin. They have lost one.
Now get on with it. Now blow the penalty. You've sent him off. Allow them to take the tap. Otherwise, it's still a disadvantage to the side that just received the penalty.
Papali'i has left the field behind his own in goal, so he has got off quickly.
He runs around his player. Simon can't tackle him, and you just let it go. I reckon if they score a try and they look at it, we get a penalty.
We say that there's no advantage there, so that's what we will there. But the issue, I understand that, but the issue is the discipline in the ruck and overall needs to be cleaned up.
Okay.
So, they got a man off, but it still really isn't an advantage to the Eels because stop, start, you can't get near them. Oh, you're starting another set.
So here we go. Here's what Blake Green's making the point there. Mannering has a teammate to try and get past.
And Mannering pulls him back. You need to get rid of him, not pull him back. He's playing for the penalty there.
Moses, chance here. Scott trying to crash his way through. Holds onto the ball. Can Parramatta make that one-man advantage count? Now the Warriors are up quickly on that side of their defence. Smith. Moses. Gutherson. And Jennings coming in off the wing and making the right choice was Maumalo.
Great stop from Maumalo.
Big line to the left. They get it to Norman in a hurry. Shows it to one. Leaks with his man. Oh, almost through as well. Lenor this time. Wonderful tackle down low. Last for Norman. The kick ricochets. Mannering had to go get it himself, and he did. Great awareness as he called his teammates out of it. They would have been offside.
Well, great desperation there from Simon Mannering. The ball ricocheted off his legs, but he made sure that he cleaned it up. Plenty of Parramatta players surrounding that football.
2 big stops for the New Zealand Warriors. Maumalo here on the left and Lenor by himself over on the right. That's what you're going to have to do when you're down to 12 men.
Yeah, your little men have to come up with key tackles, and they did in that defensive stand. And Mannering showed all his smarts to get the ball back in his team's possession. Now Green will look for a touch finder. He's not going to get it, though. It bent to the advantage of Gutherson. Steps around one, does Gutherson, but now Milo again makes the final tackle. Important little period here for Brad Arthur's team before the break. Scott gets into dummy half. He's been feeling the effects in back play. As the veteran. Doesn't look 100% right now. Matangi. Norman throwing the big dummy. Then there's some complaints as Maroa went through the line. Now Takarangi gets it. Back to Ma'u, who'll keep it moving for Moses. Still a tackle up their sleeve. And Scott thinking offload, but there's no room. And it'll be a slow play the ball after he's put on his back. Smith says, where to next? Moses, little kick into the in goal, effective, and they'll get a repeat set.
Gee, that was a clever play from Moses. Switched from right to left. Ran at the defence, and even with very little thinking time and time to put that kick in, got it through the defensive line. They get another set, the Eels.
Yeah, they were targeting that third man out of the tackle. Which got there in the end. There he is there. And Moses, as you said, Brandy, controlling the game. They're very good at that part of the game. They have their good parts of their game. There's no doubt about that. Let's see if they can score a try here before this half-time.
There's a shot clock on or something? What? Serious?
It is, there is a shot clock. It's down to 10 seconds here.
Right, okay. It just seems...
Buys them some more time.
We just have had so much time wasting, and that's something that we need to talk about before we start talking about less interchange plays.
Exactly. How long can a goal kick take? Last night Maloney able to kick one over after 10 seconds, put it on the tee, didn't muck around. Yet we give them a minute and a half at times. But we digress. Important period here for Parramatta. Gower, one of their barometer players, sets them up right on the 20. Norman, Gutherson, Takarangi and Beale. Wonderful tackle. Has not missed a beat in his return to the NRL. Manu Ma'u, almost through, straining to burst through the line. Now Smith. Moses, plenty of numbers out here for Parramatta. Again, Maumalo in off the wing and they've coughed it up. Jennings again with a knock-on. And look at the celebrations for the Warriors.
Well, they celebrate, don't they, the Warriors? So they should. A lot of the plays from Parramatta, Brandy, I don't get your thoughts on this, are done too far back from the line. It's a fine line, but you need to go and lock players in. I watched Will Smith get out there from dummy half and do a cross sort of block shape, but it was 5-6 metres back from the line, which doesn't lock the defenders in.
Danny, any of the sides in the competition that are just going through the plays that they went through last year and relying on the same things to get them and open up defensive units, well, it's not working.
Bring your backs.
It's not working, and, you know, Parramatta, where they looked sharp last year, putting on those sorts of plays, they haven't worked for them this year.
Yeah, they've been tackled in the opposition 19 times tonight for no tries. And throughout the season, they've averaged 33 tackles inside the 20, and they're scoring the least of anyone in the comp. And now they give away a penalty. Earned by Fusatua again. He's such an athlete that he makes things happen, even when he's just executing a hit-up.
Well, he just charged into Corey Norman then, and for the want of not getting a quick play the ball, the Eels were forced to just try and slow things down.
Beale, bit of footwork, and he had the arm free if anyone was lurking. Chris Sartai is out there in the 15 jumper, gets his hands on it now. Just his 5th game in the NRL. Back to Lenor, thinking one. Manu Ma'u got the charge down going. Is there a chance here for Parramatta? There might be. Siren sounds, nowhere to go really. So they give it to Bevan French, who goes back to his roots in Tingha and thinks he can make something happen with a little chip and chase, but not to be. Plenty of action in that first half, but the Warriors have aimed up when they've had to, and Parramatta have come up empty-handed so far as tries are concerned. But it's must-watch TV on Fox League, and the Warriors lead it 12-2 at halftime. Gutherson led the way for run meters for anyone on the ground. He had plenty of kicks landing on his chest and able to rack up the meters.
He just brings it, doesn't he? Brings a lot of energy. That's all you can ask for out of your skipper, and he leads from the front. But as you saw walking off at half-time, he was disappointed in that first 40, so hopefully he can get where he wants to in this next 40.
There we go. He's still in the bin. Another 4 minutes or so to go for Papali'i. So can Parramatta pounce, playing against 12 here? They got the ball to start the second half. Jennings, who missed the key tackle for the Petahiku try in that first half. Gower, the veteran, backs them into the 40. So decent metres on the opening set here. Now Manu Ma'u should take them over halfway. Almost went past the horizontal there, but that was his doing, more so than the Warriors tacklers. Now, Tepai Moeroa. Used to seeing him on the right edge, but with Beau Scott out on the right edge today, Moeroa's come across to the left. Kick comes from Moses. Chase is on. Easily taken by Fusatua.
That was a coach's set, wasn't it? As the half-time instructions came out, let's run direct. Let's run hard, let's run in numbers. They got through the set very easy.
When they do that, the Eels, something happens for the Eels. And we saw that at the back end of the Sharks game, where all of a sudden they just decided to run hard and go to the edges. They scored 3 tries in 3 minutes. It doesn't have to be fancy for the Eels. The simple stuff works for them, and it just gives Moses and Norman a little bit of time, and that's what they want. That's all they want. Just a little bit more space.
Corey, last tackle.
So they'll kick from inside their own half on the last. Green gets it spiralling a little awkwardly, and it almost got away from Jennings, who did well to adjust and take it down near his knees.
Now, how they approach the last set, they need to do it again. They need to just keep doubling that up.
There's the penalty, so they can march downfield provided they find touch. Moses says, I'll take on that responsibility after what happened last time. And that goes into the grandstands. And there's ironic cheers from Eels fans.
Well, Moses, you're saying it wasn't me.
Scott winds up. They're on the verge of that red zone again, where they've been so clunky all season. Can they click here? Moses. Matangi running at the smaller Isaac Luke, who got support from a couple of big boppers. Now Moses showing it. That's his first run of the night. Holds onto the ball, so important for the Eels. Coughed it up on multiple occasions in that first 40. Now Ma'u. Still some tackles up their sleeve. Norman. Set play for Gutherson. He's right through. They're complaining, the Warriors. They'll go upstairs and check it all out, but Gutherson thinks he's got their first 4-pointer of the night.
Kids, tackle 5. We have a try. Just check for instruction, please.
We always wonder how a try is scored so easily, and you wonder whether a defender has been taken out. They were happy, the on-field referees, with it.
Yeah, Bill just got caught too short, got too skinny, I think, next to Lenor. Don't forget they are down to 12 men. Just have a look at Beale here.
Is it all about where Gutherson collects the ball in relation to Takarangi here?
Oh, he's on the outside.
Ball's caught on the outside by Clint Gutherson. There is some contact in the defensive line that has no impact on the defensive structure.
Good common sense call there from the bunker. Good common sense call. Barely touched Mason Lenor, who just threw himself onto the ground.
And Takarangi was saluting, even though he made contact with an opponent. He knew it was all above board.
Well, he made slight contact but just kept going through the line too, which I think helped the decision go the Eels' way. They needed a try, and they've been able to get it. And it goes back to the hard running and just setting up the play. They've had 12 runs since the second half started, and all of them have just been crashes right into the defensive line, quick play the balls and allowing Norman and Moses to go at the defence.
You see Moses trying to be up-tempo here. He's put this ball down very quickly.
Bending it back. Adds the extras. We've got a 4-point ball game, but the Warriors will get the full complement back now, Matt Russell.
Yeah, and that try will make Brad Arthur increasingly happy. He wasn't real satisfied at halftime, surprise, surprise. You and I could have given the halftime address. Look after the ball, stop playing like under sixes. The problem for Parramatta is that the Warriors haven't been beaten this season when leading at halftime. And as I mentioned, Para haven't won when trailing at halftime.
So Papali'i, as you can see, is 12 or 13 seconds away from returning. So he's been given a little warm-up, rev up, down there in the end of the tunnel. That's why Moses was going up tempo. He wanted to have a few more tackles against 12 men. And they've got to go a long way here. Still defending with 12. Smith goes to Moses again. Scott. Good go forward. Takarangi. Offload away to Smith, who did well to hold on. The elusive Will Smith, and then he runs into Beale again. Another one-on-one tackle from the centre. Winding up big time was Takarangi. What's the kick going to be like at the end of it all? There'll be no kick required. It's a penalty for Parramatta on the last.
Again, just the speed of the play, the ball, the fact that they are running onto the line, crashing into the Warriors defenders. There's Beale's tackle. He got involved in the next one against Takarangi and just couldn't help himself. Tried to tip him on his back, did, and was penalised for it.
Moroa. They've got a big line with real depth here, Parramatta. Norman. Moses, Gutherson tapped on. Great hands, Jennings. Could easily have knocked that on as the pass was behind him fractionally. Moses. Here's Gower. So they've got options either side this time. 13 on 13. Moroa. Norman's calling the shots. He's going to be at first receiver here. Gets it from Takarangi. Matangi. He'll play it on the last. Will Smith looking right. Goes that way for Manu Ma'u. Looking for an offload, and Mannering, well, it's stripped back. How clever was that? That's a fresh set coming up, and Will Smith showing all his smarts. After the offload didn't find its mark, he effectively got a one-on-one strip.
Just see if they can test Peta Hiku out here, who's at fullback position. There might be a kick option. Just get him out of play and out of position.
So Smith, who kept Parramatta in the attacking area here. There was a big hole if he could have spun out of that Matangi. So well done, Papali'i, to hold on. Awkward looking play, the ball. The Warriors ask for a whistle. They don't get one. A settler from Gower. Didn't want to score in case they went to the bunker and spotted a knock on. Now Norman throws the big dummy. Harris wasn't falling for it. So many more tackles in the red zone. Takarangi's service for Moses. Here's the kick. It's into the in goal, and Green forced to bat it dead in the end. He was taking no chances as it sat up.
Well, it's good pressure. They just can't crack it at the moment. Moses' kick finds some space. There's the play. Terrific play by Will Smith on Simon Mannering after the Matangi pass. Found no one, then Blake Green just forced to play at it as Beau Scott arrives. Must have crossed his mind to allow it to go. One more, that's all he needed, Blake Green. Tackled in opposition, 20. Boy, 31. The Eels have spent plenty of time in the red zone.
Just beat the shot clock. Matangi giving them plenty of go forward off the bench. Up over 100 metres. The first forward for either team, up over the century mark. Credit Matangi. On 10 runs, he's done that. Now Manu Ma'u with a bit of footwork, crossfield. Norman directing traffic again. He wants it. Moses. turning Jennings back the other way. Tries to expose the big man up the middle. Smith goes to the right once more. Manu Ma'u throws a big dummy. Won't push the offload this time. There was still a tackle to go. Moses, shape for a kick. Norman will deliver it instead and can't get it over the top of Fusitu'a. Again, they come up empty-handed after all that footy.
It's optimistic, isn't it? Well, now we've got a flyer out there and Bevan French on that left wing, but it's just too big. Big Fusitu'a. Double hand, overhead take. Pretty hard to get it off him.
So Tavanga has come off the bench to fill the dummy half roll here. And he caught the markers not square, he thought. Pops it out the back. Tidied up by Maumalo, who links with Heku. So the team that leads the comp in offloads gets a couple back-to-back there and pick up some good meters. It is the last, and the kick comes from Luke. It looks pretty handy too. French and Gutherson both back. Awkward bouncing ball, and he had to get down low. Did Bevan French to keep them in the field of play.
That's how you control possession, and that's how you control momentum. Beautiful play from Isaac Luke. You've got to give him a rap. Don't forget, 2 weeks ago, his shoulder was dislocated. He's out there putting his body on the line consistently.
Yeah, missed just the 1 week due to that dislocated shoulder. The former Rabbitoh, very familiar with this ground, unlike a lot of his teammates. The Warriors don't get a whole lot of game time here at ANZ, where they're hoping to win some finals this year. A win here would consolidate their spot in the top 4. That's a tidy little kick down the touchline, finds it inside the 10. Right on the Origin radar, according to Brad Fittler.
Nice kick from Moses. Nice kick. I guess they've been a little frustrated, both the Parramatta halves, with the amount of time that they've spent inside the red zone, inside the Warriors 20. Just haven't been able to pry that defence open enough times.
They'll be at Suncorp next week, the Eels. Then 3 home games, Knights, Cowboys, Rabbitohs and Dragons. So some toughies, but some winnable games in there.
Well, they're going to win this one first. This is a must-win. Forget the next 5. If they don't win this one, they're on life support coming into this game. If they don't win this one, it's just about pull the curtain.
This is where the whips get cracking now. Your body becomes a little bit sore. It's back-to-back football. The weather gets a little bit cooler. This is where it sorts the teams out.
Last time they were at Suncorp, a certain Semi Radradra scored a hat-trick and they racked up over 50. They are missing Radradra. Last time they faced off against the Warriors, he ran for 192 metres and Nathan Brown ran for over 160. Hopefully Brown is back for the Eels next week. And Parramatta actually wearing black armbands after the passing of Nathan Brown's grandmother during the week. So our condolences to the family. Mannering. Strong work from Scott. It is the last. Again, they can't get it into Parramatta territory before the kick. French to bring it back. Wrapping around is Takarani. They're winning the field position battle, Parramatta, in this second stanza. Jennings. Now Gower. They've got a roll on again. Great go forward from David Gower.
On the back of their outside backs.
Outstanding, David Gower, since he's been on the field. Outstanding.
I think he's a player you've almost got to select week in, week out for Parramatta.
He's an underrated player.
Yep, helps set the tone. Kick not great at the end of that set, but was played at by the Warriors, or was it? Penalty to the Kiwi team for tackling Mannering as he tried to tidy up his initial work.
Corey Norman's kick, not great. Mannering plays at the footy and then is pulled off the ball. Well, I suppose he played his part, Corey Norman.
Left arm wrapped around Mannering's body. Deemed enough to change the course of that action there.
Fair enough call.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put his
Tackling a
arms
man without the ball.
He put his arms around it. Yep. Hard to get upset about that one if you're a Para fan.
But we spoke about David Gower, but the outside backs, Takarangi, Jennings, the way they go, the first 2 tackles, it gets their set rolling. And all the big boys and forwards can jump on the back of that.
Andy Raymond would be blowing
Parsi. An inspirational opening shift from him. Back out there for another crack. Lenore. They back off here, Parramatta, but a slip from Lenore as he tried to take on the line. And a few slips from the players tonight. Green linking with Mannering, who's been a try scorer in recent games against Parramatta. He scored 4 in the last 3 against them. Parsi has another go.
Wait, go.
First chance for a real attacking kick potentially here. Lenore goes high, and they just back off on Fusatua, who brings it down for Beale. Running onto it is Hiku, and it worked out that time, the tactic from Parramatta, saying we can't compete with Fusatua, let's let him have it.
Yeah, it's danger. You've got to do enough. You get around, you scramble, try and check a body, get someone in there. But the Warriors probably need to get a leaf out of the Parramatta book at the moment. They need the big guys get the go forward off the outside backs. So Parramatta can do it here again.
No go forward from Jennings. Will Smith thought he might have caught a marker out of position. The Eels fans baying for a penalty, nothing doing. They've had their fair share tonight.
10 of them.
Another team into double figures for penalties. That's part of the reason. Papali'i spent 10 in the bin. Gets involved, third man in. As an afterthought on that tackle, the youngster. Scott feeling the leg after it all.
Sportsmanship from Papali'i. He knew that Scott was in trouble there, so he didn't go for the legs.
Get up there, get up!
Fair lump on his left leg by Scott.
It is the last as Norman goes high. Fusatua again sets himself. It's not a fair fight when David Fusatua is under a high ball.
Kicking down the middle of the field, I try and test Petahuku, usually a right centre.
Well, they pushed the pass with Beau Scott down and out of the line for Parramatta. There was maybe a chance for the Warriors. Instead, the Eels can get on the front foot, looking to play counter-attack footy here, and Gutherson is eventually wrapped up. But
you'll see this stopped for Beau Scott.
0 tackle, play down injured.
What's happened to him, Danny? Knee injury? No. Yeah.
This is really good from Papali'i. Just lost, yeah, there's a before contact, Beau Scott. Winters at that left leg.
Gee, he's been in the wars, hasn't he? Like he's played 6 games this year, and every game he's really battled hard to stay on the field.
Yep. It's tough when you're in a position from a club point of view where you're struggling as well. It's your mindset. It's difficult.
let's hope he's not on the sidelines for too long, but a reshuffle required. They've got the versatility of Manu Ma'u, who slots into an edge role now as Alvaro returns as a middle forward.
Back on 0 tackle.
Well, they just need to keep battering this line and trying to get quick play the balls and go at the Warriors. No fancy stuff. Keep it simple.
Alvaro tumbles over the tackler. They're inside the 20 again. Terapo running with real purpose. Moses, Manu Ma'u as the right edge runner. There's plenty of finger pointing right now. Who's going to take it on here for Parramatta? Offload popped out the back. It finds Norman. Gives it to Moses, trying to make something happen, the halfback. Takarangi back the other way. Light on his feet. And kicking, and that was read too easily from Solomon Akata.
They were tempting him, weren't they? They were going, kick it, and he's come up with it.
And now the penalty given away by Takarangi, slipping that tackle high. So not a great little 10-second burst from the left centre.
Yeah, will I or won't I? I'm sure it's in his head. Will I pass this? Will I kick it? Will I run it? Probably the least effective.
Yeah, I'll come through.
That's the penalty for the high shot, Solomon Akata.
Sort of just fell into it anyway. It's a tough one. I thought against Takarangi. He did make contact.
There's a fair height differential between those two centres. Long way down for Takarangi. Papali'i, his right knee heavily strapped. Maybe that's part of the reason that he went easy on Beau Scott. He knows what it's like to have dramas in that part of the body. Green turns it back. It was telegraphed for Tabunga. Still able to pick up some decent metres. Now Green, again, a little change of direction, trying to catch the Eels napping. Moses came up well to make the tackle. Green, runners in motion, out the back. Lenor, big cutout pass, Fusatua hauls it in. They're asking for a forward pass. It has been signalled that way, so there's no runaway for Corey Norman.
Yeah, correct call. Lenor forward out of the hands, trying to find Fusatui's try-scoring machine out this right. Yeah, forward out of the hands. I think you'll see the Warriors with Kearney go for his bench soon. Get a few leaders back out there. They're just starting to go a little bit off course and to start punching through the middle a bit more. And I think Blair and Bunty Afawa could help them out in that case.
There was a time when a lot of rugby league players were being linked with the NFL. Has Fusatua been linked with the NFL? I mean, Odell Beckham Jr. style, one hand, no problem.
I know. I was just about to say David Fusatua was able to pull that ball in one-handed. We ignored that because the pass was an obvious forward one, but Fusatua dragged it in, didn't break stride.
He is a freak. David Fusatua.
There's Gower again, another good run. He really has got these sets going. They just haven't been able to capitalise. And full credit to the Warriors' defence. You know, they've been under pressure. The Eels have played much better in this second half as Smith gets a kick in. Jennings chasing.
Hiku wasn't quite there. He scoops it up one-handed and then runs towards the touchline. And Parramatta say thank you very much as Jennings just dumps him over the touchline. It's Parramatta ball with 20 to go.
He's part of the Warriors that they can expose a little bit tonight. He's a great professional, Peta Hiku, but fullback's a whole different ball game in the modern game. You've got to be so much on the ball and playing it week in, week out. He's been asked to do a job from his team here.
And we've got a 21-year-old debutant about to come on, Megan Barner.
Yes, Marata Niokore about to come off the bench for the first time tonight to make his NRL debut against his former club. He was part of the Warriors junior system. He joined the Eels last year, and after some very impressive performances for the Wentworthville Magpies and the ISP, has earned his call-up tonight.
Yeah, poached from the Warriors. They weren't too happy to lose him, but you see a lot of that in the under-20s ranks. It's tough to keep hold of them when the contracts are being offered by rival clubs. They start from the 10-metre line here after Hiku's mistake. Norman almost past Tohu Harris, but Mannering got involved. Gutherson dummy half. Gower wouldn't put it past him running over David Gower the way he's playing. Now Smith to Norman. Alvaro, there was a big hole opening up, but he just went forward and took them off. Beautiful pass, spiral to Norman. Throws the dummy and again runs to Mannering and Harris. Finished off down low. Luke drove in at the knees of Norman. Now running crossfield and linking with Manu Ma'u. They'll level the Eels. And the kick will put them in front. A second half comeback from Parramatta.
Well, it was something that the Eels halves weren't able to do, and that was to pry open this Warriors defence. It took Penny Terapo with a run. He was drifting across the field, and what a hole and what a courage run it was from Manu Ma'u. Outside in, smashed into a couple of Warriors defenders, took them into the in goal and was able to get it down. And what an effort, what a run. Just a gutsy run for his team. and they get the result. Terrific ball from Terapo.
Just a surging run. There you go, Terapo. Just going straight at Blake Green. Puts him in two minds. And why wouldn't you give it to this man? He started in the middle of the field in the lock forward position, but finds himself out there on the right back row, where he has played most of the season through the injury to Beau Scott. Just a surging. The leg speed that he does possess, such a feature for the Eels.
And an absolute team lifter. You can see on that replay, they were all up and about as they saw Manu Ma'u crash over. They thought, here's our chance.
Well, Will Smith with the kick and then the tackle that dragged Peta Hiku over the touchline. They gave themselves an opportunity, but it's simple, hard running from the Eels that's created these opportunities.
Moses makes the touchies work a little.
Well, they're in the lead.
And a big smile on the face of Mitchell Moses. Parramatta 10 points down at the break. 2 points in front now with 17 minutes or so to go. And don't forget, right after this, the second game in our Friday night doubleheader on Fox League is must watch. The Broncos at home to the Roosters from Suncorp Stadium. It'll be rocking.
It will, and look, there's no doubt that the halftime break
Time back on.
was successful in terms of what Brad Arthur wanted to get through to his team, because they are 12 from 12 in this second half, leading the possession rate, but no errors from the Eels. That's incredible, and it's the only way they were going to turn this around, and they've backed it up with some hard running.
And a try assist for Penny Terapo, which Randy Alexander was highlighting. You don't see that from a front rower too often, what Terapo just did.
Well, just every now and then you've got to do something. The defence isn't thinking. The defence weren't thinking Terapo was passing that footy.
Smith out of dummy half, so Gutherson slots in. Early-ish kick coming from Moses for the corner. Hiku not flirting with the touchline this time.
You get in a headspace like Parramatta are in at the moment. Everything's just a rhythm. Everything just becomes easy. You don't worry about your completions. You don't worry about errors. You just go forward. Go forward and get on the back of the kick, and then your line goes forward in defence.
Who's going to find a circuit breaker for the Warriors? They need one right now. All the momentum with the home team. Luke saying who's next, and nearly coughed up there by Gavitt. Had to search for it down by his side. It's all pretty slow for the Warriors right now. Lenore linking with Tohu Harris. On the last 42 metres out. Lenore is going to go high again. Off the outside of the boot a little. Gutherson calls his winger into it. Robert Jennings has a look upfield and sees some open pastures there for a moment. Then he was stopped by Beale. And finished off by Gavitt.
And gentlemen, the Eels are boxing on for 16 for the rest of the game. Beau Scott ruled out. No news yet as to the extent of that knee injury. Fingers crossed it's not the dreaded ACL.
And Nia Kore has just entered the fray. He stood there poised on the sideline for a long time. We heard Megan Barnard tell us about him about 4 or 5 minutes ago. And here he is getting his hands on it. Marata Niukore, the 21-year-old Kiwi, taking on the Warriors in his NRL debut. A few of his teammates made their debuts against the Warriors. Manu Ma'u and Tepai Moeroa. Awkward one again for Hiku. He does fantastically well to stay in, and then he gives Moses the big facial. Normally it's the tackler giving that one out.
Yeah, he had to get away from the sideline quickly. Another clever kick there from Mitchell Moses. Kept the ball in play. They didn't need that.
Yeah, that wasn't so clever from Moses.
No, you spoke about rhythm, Danny, and there's nothing like a penalty to break up that rhythm. The Warriors trail by 2 points. They are tucked in close to a sideline here, so I don't think there'll be too many metres gained. Low tackle from Moses. Just hung on for too long.
You're making my day. We'd love to get your hands on the ball. The moment you go onto the field, wouldn't you? Like Niukore. Awesome. You don't want to be making too many tackles. Gets you a chance here.
Yeah, he took Parsi, but Parsi had helped it on, so Niokore couldn't finish off that tackle. Now the footwork from Tavanga gets spun around, and that worked out for the Warriors. He was able to get the offload away. Now Beale. Jared Beale light on his feet. And Niokore gets involved there. 3 men in on that tackle for Parramatta. Green. Hiku shows it and almost goes through. Moses was hanging on and got help from Jennings in the end. They're almost into the red zone. They haven't been there too often in this second half. Harris gets them inside the 20. Beale! Lightning acceleration when he spotted the little hole, but it closed just in the nick of time for the Eels. Where does Green go? Stabs it in behind. The bounce was a shocker for Parramatta, but it was a ripper for the Warriors. And Jazz Tavanga says thank you very much. They are back in front.
I have 6 more.
It'll go upstairs to just see whether they were onside, but it looked okay.
Touched by Parramatta.
Looked pretty good live, Brenton.
So it'll be 0 tackle. Have try. Need to check the onside. Knock on from Parramatta.
Yeah, no
and
surprise to see try. The players are all onside. Green kicks the ball on the 10-metre line.
Let's have a look
Kick
at
chase,
Parsi.
Ignatius Parsi was onside.
He's fine.
Parsi's good.
Yep.
Parsi's good. He's behind the white line. Horrible bounce for Moses. Not much you can do about that. The bounce of the ball when things aren't going your way never
Ball's knocked on
favours
by
you,
Mitchell
and
Moses.
they've found that over the last couple of weeks, the Eels. The ball sits up. It's only Warriors players there. Tavanga grabs the bouncing ball, crashes over the try line.
Possession's maintained by Jazz Tavaga and grounded in goal. We have a decision.
We'll have the Warriors back in front. And it all stems back to the penalty.
Yep.
They give the penalty away, the rhythm, it just breaks down what they were doing. And to the Warriors' credit, and you said it through the calls, Peter, they hadn't been down this end of the field the whole second half, and they've been able to come up with a try now and grab the lead back.
Assistant to Clint Gutherson here. He's talking to the referee.
There's not much more I can say.
I think he must be questioning only the offside from Parsi, but isn't it funny when you're in this sort of rut? Look at the players around the ball. They're all Warriors, weren't they? A bit of an all-or-nothing play for Mitchell Moses. He had to go for it. Just hopefully it was going to be a good bounce for him.
And he gave away the penalty at the other end and then cops the shocking bounce at the other end. Straightforward conversion coming up for Mason Lenore, and Parramatta have to try and come from behind again.
They should be confident that they can. They've been the better team in this second half. Just need a bit of leadership on field from the Parramatta leaders. And so we're in this game. We're well on top. Just need to finish it.
Lenore with that kicking leg with some extra padding on it. Hasn't really affected him tonight. And he does add the extras. It's a 4-point ball game with 11 to go, Matt Russell.
The poor old Parramatta Eels, when you're down on your luck, you tend to get the boot laid in. But from the Warriors' point of view, Jazz Tavanga, a little bit like Tyrone Peachey, we don't really know where he plays. He's meant to be a hooker, but he's often on at the same time as Isaac Luke. And the Warriors love him bobbing up at just the right time, just like that.
Yeah, I agree, Matty. I think he's been outstanding for them this year. And any game that he hasn't played in, there's been a few, I think the Warriors have missed him. Very important man coming off the bench that fills a hole anywhere.
But footwork, late offload, he's very valuable.
Gavitt tries to step around Terapo. The Warriors have won 3 of their 4 away games. The only loss came when they were hammered on Anzac Day in Melbourne against the Storm. So this would be another real team lifter for them. They're right at the pointy end of the NRL table. Looking to match Penrith with 8 wins. And also the Dragons will have the chance to go to 9 across the weekend on Fox League. Don't forget the next game coming up. The Broncos against the Roosters from Suncorp. Luke, great run out of dummy half. He caught the markers napping. They were turning around, didn't know where he'd gone. Now Green looking for a touch finder. Gutherson will let it sail, and it doesn't find touch in the field of play. It was great awareness from Gutherson. They get a 7-tackle set out of it.
Well, this will get him up the other end of the field for at least an attacking kick. It's a big error from Blake Green. He's been so good in those sort of situations for the most part this season. That one just going dead and giving the Eels a chance.
And Brad Arthur just sending this man back on. Siwa Matangi, along with Manu Ma'u, so destructive for Parramatta. It's funny how the New Zealand products are hurting the New Zealand team.
Well, Nia Corey with a powerful run there.
Some leg speed.
Oh, straight through goes Terapo. How well is he playing? And gets the quick play the ball. Warrior laying in the ruck. Will Smith milks the penalty. Didn't he throw that forward? He's always thrown that forward into Isaac Luke.
Come on.
No.
Put some common sense in our game sometimes.
Did he just bounce the ball off his chest then?
He just threw the ball on him. I've never seen that.
We're moving on.
Well, you'd have to say that because I know he was in the ruck, but he wasn't in the road, was he? Really? He was behind the play the ball. Just watch. Great run from Penny Terapo.
Hold it.
Come on. I've seen it all now.
What do you say about
I
that?
just don't know.
Milking?
That's not milking. I don't know what it is.
He did throw it backwards. Credit the smarts, at least for that, Will Smith. I thought for a moment he might have thrown it forward, which is maybe what Blake Green was asking about, but he definitely threw it backwards into Luke. Now Takarangi. Offload away, and Smith coughs it up, and Warriors fans will say, how you doing now, Will Smith? They get in his face. Isaac Luke giving him some chirp and says, that's justice, my boy.
Every now and then you talk about the football gods, and sometimes they're with you and sometimes they're not. And they always even out at the end of the year and at the end of any game. It would have been a tragedy.
Oh, Takarangi supplying the pass. It was okay. He just wasn't ready for it, Will Smith. And didn't they enjoy it, the Warriors? Well, we're inside. Well, we're down to 8 minutes, in fact, and that's an opportunity that slipped by there. Full set was just about to get underway for the Eels.
Trash talking. It is NBA playoffs time, and there was plenty going on there, wasn't there? Oh, adventurous pass. Any other player but Fusatua, you might think maybe a knock-on potential, but he goes, I'll have that.
Get it on the shelf. Let him run onto it.
Go gadget arms for David Fusatua. Tavaga. He and Luke both on the field together for the Warriors as they look to close this one out. Interesting by Smith, taking a real chance, flopping on the player there. Good strong run by Afoa. Now it's Mannering's turn. That was only 2 metres forward, and the touchy has it. Parramatta will start from the 40, attacking-wise.
Yeah, Mannering. Isaac Luke was wanting him to run behind the play the ball. He got out, engaged the markers, then had to fire it at a 10-metre pass. Here it is here. Probably not 10 metres, but he wanted him a little bit closer. So he just pumped through that hole there, inside shoulder of Terapo.
And Mo turns to Isaac Luke and says, how do you like it now? The trash talking just continues. You rarely see it, but they've been entitled to react like that, haven't they? With plenty going on in the last couple of minutes.
Walk off. Out.
Well, the game's on the line, Speedy. Big set here.
Matangi sets them up. The halves combine. Flat ball for Manu Ma'u, running that trademark angle. Gutherson goes back to Norman, and they say to Nia Corey, what can you give us? He gets them into that red zone. Norman screaming for it. Gets it on the left, and Moroa running an angle. They've made the Warriors forwards make their fair share of tackles here on this set. Nia Corey again.
Last tackle off the leg.
It is the last. Which way do they go? Smith goes to Moses. Ball in hand for Gutherson. Jennings lost it, and they're away. We're playing on for now. Smith in cover. And Malmalo gets rid of him. Can't get away from Moses, and we won't go back and revisit what went on. in that corner.
Well, they just got punched for room. Jennings didn't take the ball. Mamola picked it up. Carter.
Fusatua knew he was running out of ground and with real intelligence came back into the field of play. They don't need to push things. They're the team in front right now. And they have wonderful field position. The margin is only 4, so they won't be thinking 1. They're thinking another 4. Luke goes to Green. Back to the dummy half. Lenor now throwing the dummy, trying to slide his way over. Big line back to the left. Blair sets them up in front of that right upright.
1 foot. Go.
Luke says, let's keep working over this side. Isaac Luke to finish it all off. Has he got the speed in there? He celebrates like he's a try scorer, and it might just be the sealer.
Well, he's looking confident. Isaac Luke.
Okay. Kids, a 6 tackle, have try. We just confirm that he gets the ball down.
Stop him this close to the line.
If it's not a try, you have Corey Norman offside on 10 metres.
Massive effort if they do. I wouldn't imagine they do. Bully Isaac Luke.
He just keeps on driving the steed and over the top of the tackle.
Yeah, there's a try. He's a player.
Maintains possession all the way to the ground and grounds the ball in the end goal. We have a decision.
Just won the game on the back of his brute strength, Isaac Luke.
Eight-point margin, kick to come.
Well, that will finish the comeback. At the Eels stage, they hit the front there for a while. Isaac Luke returned after missing the game against the Warriors last week. Here's the turnover down the other end of the field. Jennings just ran out of room. He had a line of players in front of him. The short side play wasn't the option. Quick play the ball. Just had the Eels on their heels, on their try line. And you're right, Danny, that's a strong little man. Just over the top, all power.
He's one of my favourites, Isaac Luke. Just love the way he can change the match on just an action. Win a match on the back of an action. And so they've really missed him, there's no doubt. And those big losses they've had. Melbourne, and then obviously the Roosters last week, he wasn't there. It's a big part of this team.
Well, they've been able to bounce back. Both big losses, they've bounced back with wins. And this one away from home, importantly.
Lenor taking all of the time. Allotted to him. Winding it down inside. 3.5 to go. Parramatta need to produce those late try-scoring heroics like they did in Cronulla that time. But did I see what I thought I saw on that replay? Because the Warriors didn't score a try, we don't go to the bunker on the initial play. But on this turnover, watch what happens here. Comes off Jennings, hits a leg of a Warrior, bounces to a man in front of him. Isn't that offside and they should have a scrum instead of running 50?
Let's just have a look.
Yep.
Proper look.
Probably. Right.
But he was looking for a bit of a cut-out ball, wasn't he?
Well, you know.
Michael Jennings.
And in the heat of the battle, that's just what they have to make a call.
They go for the short kick-off. Takarangi trying to get there and asking for blockers in the road. He's got a fair argument, Takarangi. He's asking the touchy about it. We did see that famously at Belmore, didn't we? When Reynolds ran an opponent off the ball when the game was done. He gave away a penalty and a chance for the Knights.
It was against the poor old Knights. I remember that vividly.
No joy for Parramatta there, and the Warriors can just play safe footy now.
Brenton Isaac Luke wants back into the Kiwi Test team for that Denver Test. Of course, he missed the World Cup and as a result had his best and first pre-season since 2007. Brandy, has there been a better Warrior than Isaac Luke this season?
I don't think so, Matty. I think there's a lot more substance to this Warriors outfit than there has been in past seasons. But the heat was on Isaac Luke after helping South Sydney win a premiership in 2014. He was a non-performer and drifted into the never-never. But he's been great this year.
From the never-never to Denver.
Get him back in there, please. International Rugby League needs Isaac Luke in it.
42 tests under the belt, but not spotted in the most recent World Cup. Time to return, they say, for Isaac.
He's fit. That's the difference.
Yeah, helped the Rabbitohs win that premiership, but unfortunately for him, was suspended on the big day, wasn't he?
That's right, Happy Coruscant.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Parramatta tried to feed the scrum when the Warriors weren't even involved.
I know I spoke about it sort of midway through the first half, but look at the strapping on him. He's playing, I'm sure, a lot of pain. It's just crazy to think players, what they do week in, week out with their bodies. It's amazing.
Parramatta will have to push some passes here. They've got to score and stop the clock and have one more go. Manu Ma'u running straight at Lenor. Closing in on his third win in the NRL. Debutising for Sean Johnson. So to do this on the road with no Johnson, no Tuivasa-Sheck, some effort from the Warriors. As Gutherson floats one out to Robert Jennings. Pushing the pass back to Moses. Smith, they're going crossfield. Parramatta looking to find a gap in this Warriors line. Offload away as Beale just dumped Takarangi and gets involved in that tackle too. Seconds ticking away. Gower. They come out of the line, open up this space. Great hands from Jennings again. Knows his brother's outside. Nowhere to go for Robert though. They keep it in the hands. Right up the middle goes Matangi off a suspect-looking pass from Terapo. Norman back inside. Moses. Pass off the ground, and he won't get away with that. It's a penalty against Moses.
You were just talking about Isaac Luke and how much pain he's in. He just made a tackle with that bad shoulder on Sui Matangi. He's just back onto his feet now, but yeah, it's been a courageous effort from the number 9.
Don't forget the next game on Fox League right after this. The Broncos against the Roosters in a Friday night blockbuster.
It's a big win for the club. For the New Zealand Warriors. They've made us some substance this year, aren't they? A few demons after last week. They've come back, got together. It's great to go on the road sometimes after a big loss. Without Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, huge win.
And Jared Beale celebrates victory in his Warriors debut, and he played a key role as well. They were overtaken by Parramatta, who were trying to pull off that second half comeback, but then the Warriors, they went again. Isaac Luke was hugely influential. And the team from across the ditch, they look the real deal in 2018. They are 8-3. And Stephen Kearney has his first win at ANZ. 10th time lucky for him. Full time, the Warriors 24, Parramatta 14.